Step into the Incense and Whiskey sanctuary with mindfulness enthusiasts and verified whiskey lovers, Mecca and Ashley, as they discuss all the random topics they love, from mindfulness to memes. This is Ashley.
And this is Mecca. Hey, it's Incense and Whiskey. Welcome back. On today's episode, we are talking about all things Black television. All things. You know how Issa Rae was like, I'm rooting for everybody Black. We are here to talk about all the Black television. And we are joined by a special guest, my longtime friend, Mr. Brandon Northington. Yay, Congo's wild. Just so y'all know, Brandon is a TV and movie aficionado. Brandon, let the people know let them know. Tell them the background. Why should they trust you?
For sure. First, Ashley, Mecca, thank you for having me on. Again, my name is Brandon Northington. I'm from Georgetown, Kentucky, a small town right outside of Lexington. Currently living in the DMV area. I'm an attorney with a medium-sized firm where I manage pre-litigation for personal injury cases. But yeah, in my spare time, I love spending time with family, friends, a good game of spades, reading, movies, and television. I love it. Absolutely. And it's a great place to escape, to see other stories told, to learn, to see culture, to see people that look like me on screen in different roles. I just absolutely love it.
I think that's really a good point to make, even outside of the television shows, but just understanding that TV is also used as an escapism and a learning tool, right? So, I know a lot of people pride themselves on saying, oh, I don't watch that much TV, or I don't know what's going on. I'm just so busy. But Brandon is a really good example of someone that is accomplished, and he sounds like he makes his goals, and he still likes TV.
Like, oh, for sure. Like,
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, I try to go, travel a lot of places when I'm flying back and forth. I'm always downloading shows on the Kindle. Mm-hmm. I used to be a reader on the plane. Now I'm watching shows and movies. It's a good time to catch up. After a long day at work, be brief, pour me a little drink, and just chill out and watch a show. I mean, last night I was watching the first episode of Kanye West's Docu-Series, which was fantastic.
Really?
What? I mean, you don't really get to see someone's their upcoming, them really rising, right? You see documentaries where there's pictures, there's clips from different TV shows or award shows, but my man had a camera with him from 2001.
What?
Yeah, this is built over the last decade. It's not like a flashback is what you're getting at, right? They were filming this in live real life.
So did he know in 2001 that he wanted to be documenting himself?
No, probably. So that's not how it happened. Well, that's right. That's what you think. But no, I mean, you see this young, 24, 25-year-old Kanye, and someone saw enough in him to say, hey, I want to record your journey. And, that's how it starts. And that whole process is explained in the show. And listen, I don't want to give anything away, but it's one of the best things I've seen on television. I mean, because, again, you're not seeing the interviews. You're not having people reflect. You're in it. We're seeing Donda West. We're going to the house that they, when they rebuilt the house for, the Donda album. He goes into the house and looks at his bedroom. And I mean, you're seeing all this in what was real time then. It's fantastic. It's only the first episode. I can't wait to see the rest.
Okay. Check this out for sure. So thinking about seeing ourselves on screen, what were some of your favorite shows to watch that you felt I see myself in this. This is totally what I want to watch. What was one of the first shows you can think of?
I mean, I think everyone kind of thought and dreamt of the opportunity to move with their rich uncle, right? So Fresh Prince is number one, right? No matter what your home situation is. I mean, unless you're already coming from, a high net worth, but that it was just amazing. Love Fresh Prince. Martin is just hilarious. But I think really what culturally that affected me the most, having attended 2 HBCUs, was A Different World.
Mm-hmm. I was just about to say, Different World where I saw myself first.
Absolutely. Love A Different World. I've seen it all the way through 3 or 4 times. Timeless characters. great stories, really, focusing and challenging on the issues at the time with HIV and pregnancy and discrimination. I mean, it was just an awesome show. And again, I didn't know what HBCUs were growing up in Georgetown, Kentucky, albeit, K-State's down the street, but I didn't know that there was this world of HBCUs and Hampton, Howard, Morehouse, Spelman, these awesome schools that are, cultivating these amazing leaders that I like to think myself as being one of.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it definitely was a catalyst to a lot of African Americans going to college and wanting
for sure.
experience, even if they wasn't going to get an experience just like that, but it gave them hope for this experience.
So I have to tell you all and give your reaction to this. I read an article once, and I may get this wrong, and I'll try to see if I can cite it on the back end for everybody to look up sometime. But I read an article once about kind of what we'll call like the Black TV Renaissance during that time period, right? So you had Fresh Prince, you had Family Matters, I think was also around the same time. And these may not be in, a chronological order, but you also had Living Single, there was like proof of concept that Black television or shows with primarily Black cast had an audience. Like there was an audience for it, and the networks couldn't get enough of it for a time period, or they had like their fill. And then there was this it went dead. Like it went dead. These shows went off air, and then we had this time period where we didn't have this steady stream of different networks exploring primarily Black TV or Black character cast. And so I want to get your reaction to that. Like, did you also feel that without like recognizing that was maybe intentionally happening with the networks after, Fresh Prince wrapped or anything like that? What were you watching after that? Like, do you remember?
Yeah, no, I think kind of while it was happening, I didn't notice it as much, but being reflective, I can look at a timetable of shows and say, there's a gap in the space of time, right? There's something missing. And, speaking to the article that you just read, I recently saw an article in the Hollywood Reporter where it was actually giving praise to the UPN era and how it, had all these African-American shows. And then, with the merger with UPN and WB and, everything that happened, how that has fallen off, that's the CW, which maybe they have a Black show or two. I'm not sure, but now it's definitely catered to a different audience. But yeah, I think the reason I know so many shows like I do is because of the reruns I was watching, right? It was, searching for, looking for those over and over again, or filling them with, other TV that I wasn't as interested in, but it was just, let me watch what's available. Even thinking to back when we were kids, I mean, we had great television for kids, Kenan and Kel. We had Smart Guy, Sister, even smaller, Gullah Gullah Island. I mean, there was like Black television for us, I think, kind of in all stages when we were growing up, not even, just like the older, kind of more mature content like a Living Single or Martin, which did a really good job of balancing, made it family friendly, right? There were a lot of things that when I was a kid, I didn't understand. And then I went back and watched it, was like, oh, snap, that's a funny joke, right? I get it because I'm older now, right? But yeah, it's just interesting. At one point, they saw an opportunity to make money, and then it was like, this era has passed, as if Black people just stopped watching TV and let's get on to the next. I think the reality series is responsible for that, because you see your influx of Love and Hip Hop's Basketball Wives. Who was it? My man, Flavor for the Love. What was it?
Flavor of Love.
We
were just
Love.
talking about that recently.
You see those kind of shows, I think, start to take the spot of these kind of sitcoms as a whole. At least that's my opinion.
No, I think you're right. I've read an article similar to what you're saying. Like in the 1980s and the 1990s, when we saw a flux of more African American shows or shows with more Black people on there, and then you get into like the early 2000s and it wasn't as many, and then you like fast forward a little bit and you bring on like Girlfriends, and that was, what did you have? Girlfriends, The Game, and something else. There was like a little period of
and that was also the CW at that point.
And then once those kind of shows died off, Brandon, you're right, we did go into reality TV.
And that being like the primary place where you saw Black people on television. And
but you only saw like one kind of Black people.
That's true, which we talked about.
Like a minstrel show, maybe. I don't know, maybe it's too harsh,
No, I think that all of that is true. And I think it's really interesting to see where we are now. I think that to our both all of our points in the discussion so far is kind of you see this trickle effect, and I think maybe we've seen a new influx of shows, right? With Blackish came on to the scene on ABC, and then you had Issa Rae with Insecure on HBO, and now you have Harlem on Prime, and now Bel-Air. Are you watching Bel-Air, Brandon? Let us know.
Listen, I flew out of Louisville Sunday morning, and the
Wait.
first thing I did was download the episodes to watch on the plane. Like, I was on the plane just getting it. Like, I need to talk to somebody about this, right? Because
really,
oh my gosh, loved it. So my flight was delayed, so I started watching the first episode in the gate, and I'm just in it. Tablet propped up on my bag, and I'm just watching it, just getting it. Like, flight delayed, I don't care. I'm loving everything that's happening right now. And another fun fact about myself, I am a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. So you got Uncle Phil as an alpha. Like, come on. I mean, it's just amazing. You got, and then I found out, so, talking back to different worlds. So, there's always, presence of Greeks and a lot of alphas there. One of the same gentlemen that was stepping in a different world, he credits himself as being like Hollywood's first stepmaster. He actually helped facilitate the alphas being placed in Bel-Air and was on scene. And so I got to see some behind the scenes footage, but he was posting. I mean, just this whole connection between, then and now and everything. So absolutely love it. I mean, it's completely different. It's not comedy at all. It is a drama.
It's a drama series?
It's drama.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about the original Fresh Prince being a comedy, and then you have Bel-Air being a drama, not even a dramedy, like
I think
drama.
It shows the signs of the time.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. What are your thoughts, Brady?
I think that's definitely a fair assessment. I also like that it's not just redoing the show, because as a fan, just having it redone in modern times, if you will, would be discredit, right? The social media, so much has changed, right, since the early '90s when Fresh Prince first premiered. I think it's done a great job. The first episode, I think, was a little sped up to really tell and kind of lay out that story, which is what we got in the intro of Fresh Prince, but once they got past that, things have kind of slowed down a little bit. And, questions that I had were immediately answered, like, oh, you can't just leave Philly and go to LA, think people aren't going to find you in the social media. And then that kind of, that happens. And it's like, oh, okay, it's realistic in that sense. Like, because I'm like, you just can't run away from things like you could back then, right? And then not allowing it to happen. And so I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Jeffrey is a whole new role. He's no longer like the butler. He's the house manager.
The house manager, yeah.
Yeah.
They've modernized the show, for sure.
Yeah, he just be chilling to me. I'm like, what you doing,
But speaking of learning how to live, though, like, also people, I mean, I was telling Mecca on another episode that I learned about hiring private chefs and chartering boats and stuff from reality television. So, like, thinking about what does it mean to have a house manager, you're seeing that now on scripted television with Bel-Air, it sounds like.
Yeah, because I still don't know what that means, and I can't wait to learn more. I imagine the house manager's paying the light bill and different stuff, but I'm like, if you just outsource that to like a virtual assistant, do I need a person in my face for that? Like, so what is his bill going to be? Mecca, I think I heard you ask about Hillary. Her role, again, it still nods to her past. She went to school, she dropped out, but now she's really focused on being a creative. She's cooking, she's a chef. And so, again, I was looking for Jeffrey to make breakfast. Here's Hillary, chefing it up in the kitchen. And I'm like, I would say, again, credits to the original show, Aunt Viv. We do have, a darker skin, if you will, Aunt Viv, which is, clear nod to the original Aunt Viv. But just, beautiful people across the scene. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with little Ashley, because, she just pops up, I think, a little bit in the first episode. Will is a little older. I want to say when the original show started, he was a sophomore. In the dramedy, he's now a junior. So it's moving a little faster there. His love interest, Lisa, he doesn't meet in college, but they go to the same prep school. And so the little changes, obviously I can recognize as a fan, but I like it. I don't mind it. I didn't go into it, want it to be the same, want to get something fresh, new, and I'm here for it.
I like that. I like that assessment, especially I think I keep going back to the signs of the time because it was okay to have something light and funny then. Now you really have to be more realistic because everybody is on this like they're ready to cancel you out in 5 seconds. So
That's
it
fair.
had to be like something that people can actually kind of relate to. And I'm not saying that everybody can relate to this. I would assume probably not. But is there any other shows that are that we had in the past, maybe the '90s, early 2000s, that you guys would want to see rebooted that hasn't been rebooted?
Mm, a reboot. Well, I'll say this. So, Fresh Prince, of course, they had their reunion, and I think that was a great way to kind of tee up this idea for Bel-Air,
I
which,
agree.
if I'm not mistaken, was based on fan fiction, and they took it and ran
Hmm.
with it. Martin is set to record a 30-year reunion on BET Plus.
I
Really?
didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Again, I keep
Wow.
I keep my ear to the ground. I'm
For
out
real.
here. Yeah. That
I
listen,
love it.
they'll be filming February 20th. I did not get an invite. It's okay, but so
Get the
it makes
man an
me.
invite, y'all. Get him an invite.
I love
I
it.
wonder if they're setting up to do something or if it's just a reunion.
Mm.
Who's to say, right? But if I had to pick one, my number one, A Different World has to be. I would love to see it. I mean,
Well,
especially
you know
everything
that
that's going on. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Did you see they did this like these road trip show? I think it was on Bravo, where they took a lot of these older shows and they went on a road trip with some of the original cast members. And Different World did a road trip show. Did you see that one?
I saw that's the only one I saw.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, of all of them.
Yeah, that's
You
the one I
said
was
that's
like,
the
that one
only
has my
That
attention.
was the only one.
of all of them. That's the only. Okay, I got it.
That was it.
Um,
That's yeah.
no, I think that I would love to see that Martin reunion. Ashley, is there any that you would want to see rebooted?
I think Brandon brought up a really good point, and I think also as a newer mom, I would want to see a reboot of something for the kids. Like I remember Gullah Gullah Island and really appreciating it. And I think I was a little bit older than that demographic. I recently had my husband rewatch The Proud Family with because he never saw it. Like I would like to see some more of that for the children. But Family Matters was close to my heart, and the love between Urkel and what is the girl's name that
Lisa.
was
Lisa.
Lisa? It's always a Lisa. There was a Lisa Turtle. There was the Lisa Winslow. And
Yeah.
then what was Lisa's last name on Fresh Prince? Whatever. She was a Lisa.
Yeah.
But no, I would like to see a reboot of some more of the children's shows, to be honest, as a new mom, because I would like to be able to experience that with my daughter as
Yeah.
she grows up.
Yeah, I can see that.
What about you, Maker?
Right. I was just thinking about that. It's like I'm torn between girlfriends and living single.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Which one would you want to see as a movie versus like a reboot of a show? How about that?
girlfriends as a movie.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
there's so many things left off that we just don't know what happened.
Mhm.
And then the game came on. So I would say
Yeah.
girlfriends as a movie, living single, like they could do like a limited series. I do get everyone's busy and it would make sense, for an entire multi-series, but I think a limited series would be okay. But
I watched something where they had the characters of Kyle Barker and Maxine on a show, like as a married, like they were a married couple. I have to think of what show it was, but
oh, was it Girls Run the World? No. Was she
I
married?
can't I can't remember exactly what it was, but they came back as their characters and they were married. And Kyle was like a playwright, and Maxine he had like decided to be a playwright, and Maxine was like this big high power corporate lawyer, what have you. And it was all they were still like arguing and bantering with each other, and I thought it was really
Oh, I wonder
cool
what that
to
is.
see those characters on a different show. So that like that kind of crossover effect would be really cool also to see as well. But I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of Living Single, and I don't. You're right. There, I don't see them being able to come back together. Like Queen Latifah is
Right.
too busy.
Could
I
could
just
it
don't
be a new
remember.
Living Single with like new cast members
I
or
would
like
watch a new
recast
Living
it?
Single. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
watch a new
I
Living
feel like
Single.
Girls Run the World. Is that what it's called?
That is the show on Showtime.
Was that loosely I can't remember. I feel like there was some talk around that being loosely based off of Living Single because isn't Max on that show? Max
Oh,
is
I don't know, but what I
like a
do know
nod
is
to
like the
her.
formula is still there, right? You have this group
Yeah.
of friends living in the city and their like interaction with each other. Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
formula, like there's nothing wrong with formula. Let's not break the formula. But whether it's in the context of like a crossover or a drama versus a comedy versus a dramedy, I think to Brandon's point, it's great to see the story reimagined in different ways. But that formula of like a group of friends being connected or, relationships between Martin and Gina, for
Mhm.
example. Like I think
Mhm.
that plays well and it's true to life and there's authenticity to it that I would enjoy. I would like to, continue to see for sure.
Yeah.
What about the Cosby Show?
That one's tough. It's the Cosby Show. I mean, put so many people on. Had such a long run. I mean, if it wasn't 10 years, it was a little over. I mean, it started in 80 something. I want to say 84, and ran into whenever in the 90s. But then everything with Bill Cosby personally,
Yeah.
it's tough. A beautiful show. Did a great job. Gave us Raven Simone, Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Yeah.
I can't recall his name was Cole from Martin. He was
Yeah.
there.
Oh
Cockroach.
yeah, I forgot about
There were
that.
a lot of actors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so many. Who I think Alicia Keys was on the episode, right? When she was a
Yes.
little
No.
girl.
For
She
real?
Yeah,
was. Yep.
yeah,
She
Alicia
was?
Keys.
I
yeah.
did
Yeah.
not know that. Wow.
Um, Ga- was it Gabrielle Union or Taraji or Essence?
I think
One of those
Gabrielle
Essence.
Union.
was
Gabrielle, you made
had a
us.
little role on there before.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, you're right. A lot of stars were on that show. I wonder if some remake of that formula, that family concept would help to like to celebrate the art without necessarily, bringing attention back to, the unfortunate legacy of Bill Cosby at the forefront of it all.
I think sitcoms are hard just in
Yeah.
general now. The folks' attention span is different. A
Mhm.
sitcom is what 16, 18 minutes, minus
Yeah.
commercials, whatever. People like series, and something longer, more content. I think a one that was there's been a few that have been done really well that have gone off air, like sitcoms. They just don't make it anymore. I've seen them on
Mm.
Netflix, Hulu, different, primetime stations. They don't make it. It was I can't call his name. He's a comedian and he had one. And it was very funny, very punchy.
Was it on
Ah,
Netflix?
no, I want to say it may have come on. I have to look. It's the Carlisle show. The Carlisle show. I think
Oh,
is
I
what.
love
Oh
that
yeah.
show.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was
Tiffany
so.
Haddish was on that show.
Yeah, it was so good. It
Yeah,
didn't make it. I mean,
Yeah.
that show was.
yeah.
It was
It was a very
perfect.
funny show. You're right. It was a very funny show,
It
and it
was
was family
Yeah,
oriented in that way in terms of the formula. Yes, I
it
remember the
didn't make
Carlisle
it.
show. Yeah,
Yeah. I think. I mean, like if Carlisle show can't make it, what can make it?
yeah,
Like
that's
it's hard
fair.
for sitcoms. So maybe if they brought it back in a different form, maybe, but they would have to change the name and rewrite the narrative. And maybe we're following, Raven Simone and her family now and that dynamic, and they've kind of moved on. But it's possible. I mean, Roseanne did it. Roseanne came back, and when she had her controversy, they removed her from the show and kept it going. So
Yeah.
it's possible.
Hmm.
Did you watch? So did you watch the game? Did you all both watch the game?
Mm-hmm. I did.
The original.
The original, right? So my understanding is they're doing not a full reboot, but
It's done.
something focused on Tasha Mack as a character, which I thought was amazing. I
Yeah,
thought
it's
she was a
done already.
standout character. Yeah. Okay.
It's
Yeah,
So
called The
yeah.
Game.
definitely have to check that out.
I was just talking about that earlier today. I actually, they did a good job with just kind of like highlighting her and just nodding to the former characters
Yeah.
because it's more focused on her and her relationship with her son and the dynamics with her husband, and then they kind of brought in the one of the starring roles, Jason Pitts, his daughter, as another starring role in a sitcom. I think they did a good job. I mean, she could be a show by herself anyway. So
Yeah.
I didn't feel like anything was lacking. I still thought it was funny.
Yeah. Oh, that character. I mean, like I said, I felt like that was a standout character, and I need to go check out that show. Like a whole show based on her would be absolutely entertaining, I believe. So
What about okay, so we got like I don't know, we got a in bulk when we got 20s, bigger, boomerang, um, you know, the list goes on when, with this BET Plus. Those, I feel like we got a bulk of young, coming of age black people on these
Yeah.
shows, right? Like it came in bulk and fast. Did you guys watch any of those? Bigger, Boomerang, 20s, any of the newest
Yeah.
ones?
Listen,
Brandon's like all of the
I
above.
try to watch everything. Yeah, I just I like to be current, right, and see what's going on. I like Boomerang. Again, I think I like the concept. Continuing from the movie, his kids kind of
Hmm.
taking over the legacy. Thought that was great. What was the one on Netflix that was a movie they made of this show and it just fell off? It didn't do as well.
It was a net. It was on Netflix.
Netflix, yeah, and they started singing in the end. What was the name of it?
Oh, was Loretta Devine on it?
Family Reunion is what I think you're thinking of. Loretta Devine is on that.
Um, Not that it was they were in college. Um,
Oh,
what's I thinking of? I'm trying to look through my list of shows now. It's a long list. Um,
I don't
while
have.
you're looking at that, this is like proof that there are these shows out there. Like the Upshaws was on Netflix. Remember, if I don't know if you all
Yep.
caught that. Like
yeah,
there's these shows out here, and they're in these like disparate platforms, right? You have some on the streaming services, you have some on network television. That maybe Keenan has a sitcom right now that's supposed to be family oriented around, Keenan Thompson, the comedian. And then Lil Rel had a show temporarily that was supposed to be family oriented. So there's just like these fits of the
A
shows
lot of
and on different
comedians.
platforms. A lot of
Yeah,
comedians.
I feel like
Yeah,
that.
a lot of
So what
comedians.
about the content though? Like I feel like the content, like in the early years when we talk about the 90s, early 20s, the content was a little bit more meatier and layered as opposed to like now.
Mm.
With the exception of, and I don't want to pronounce her name wrong, with Letha Way.
Oh, Lena Waithe.
Lita Wayne. Yeah. Her content is a little bit more deeper when you look at like I guess Shy Town or the Shy shouldn't, I don't know if that would be considered what we're talking about because that was more of a drama series, right? Not a sitcom.
yeah, definitely.
What do you think about the content versus now currently and early 90s 20, like the yeah, the content that they are actually putting out?
I think it really goes to again the times and technology. One, episodes had to be able to stand on their own. You didn't have these kind of underlaying plots because if you missed Friday night TGIF, right, you might not catch it again unless you were recording with a VHS, right? And then
Mhm.
we have TiVo and we start getting these DVR devices. But now it's very much so. If you didn't see the first one and you just come in at three, you need to go back to the beginning, right? Because they're all
Mhm.
building and continuing. And so I like that, right? It's like no one's going to sit down and watch a 7 hour long movie, but if you break it up into 30-minute sections, people will crush it. And so the stories I think get thicker because they can tell more, they can have more direction, and there's all these subplots, right? So I've enjoyed that with newer TV as opposed to the old because you got some kind of subplots, but they couldn't do as much,
Mm.
from what I recall. But I enjoy it. And then there's a lot of good content. I mean, like you said, we're in a time now where we went to this high, we hit this low,
Hmm.
kind of back up down,
Right.
and it's just booming right now. Like it's exploding every day. There's something new. I think I just wrote down 2 new shows I need to watch today. Right, like there's so much
They
out
are
there,
good.
and with the ones that you were mentioning, 20s, Harlem, Boomerang. Harlem just got signed for a second season, so really
Yeah,
excited about that.
I'm excited for
Um,
that.
I mean, there's a lot out there, and I think that folks are getting recognized, and we're having not only just a lot of black people in front of the camera, but also behind in the writing rooms, in the production, in directing, which our stories are being told in a more authentic way.
Right. I do agree with that. I mean, we didn't even touch on like a Shonda Rhimes
Oh yeah.
or we didn't even touch on like, and I know because we were trying to kind of going on with like sitcoms, but like even the flux of that have come in on ABC with the Grays and the Scandals, Private Practice, where it wasn't necessarily black TV, but there was a sprinkle in, and like the main characters were
Black women or yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I have enjoyed seeing that. That's way more than what we've seen, in prior past. So that's been a plus.
Yeah, I think it's just if I could give anyone their flowers now, it would certainly be Issa Rae. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
obviously it's what she's done with Insecure. I mean, and obviously her story is amazing, going from YouTube stories and being able to
Right.
get a deal with HBO and just being authentic to who she is, LA, her neighborhood, restaurants, black art, black culture. I mean,
Yes.
everything from what she was wearing to the music. It was just it was sad to see it go. I
Oh
enjoyed
my,
how
I
they
was so
wrapped it
sad.
up, but
I
it was
know.
like it really felt like an end to an era.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to see what Issa Rae continues to produce as a creator. Um, but her show has just at this point for me has been like the epitome of this new kind of Black Hollywood,
Mm-hmm.
and what it means and the responsibility that we have to tell these stories. Um, and to buy us for us, right? I mean, she's just done such an amazing
She
job.
does a
If
good
I
job.
ever see her, I just want to shake her hand, and say
I
thank you.
know.
You know?
I'm a
Thank you.
huge fan. Her creativity is like bomb. I think I told you actually I watched her master class, and the way she even goes about how to set up one episode on like what brings you in. It's the thought of, why is this person waking up? Why am I going to sit in front of my TV and watch this person start their day? How are they starting their day? Who's immediately in this piece to like draw us in? Like her creativity on even how she creates one episode is not like a formula for like a cut and paste for everything else. So I do
Hmm.
enjoy that piece. She's super multi-talented. I can't wait to see what else she's creating.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, my
Absolutely.
Yeah.
my Sunday nights will not be the same.
They won't
It was
be.
the end of an era. It really was.
Have you
And
guys seen that meme that's been going around? It's like, so that was Insecure, and then there was this meme going around with another picture called Secure. Have you
no,
No,
seen
I haven't
that?
seen that one.
You
I have to go
haven't?
look for it.
And
No, I
someone was
haven't
like,
seen
"Oh
it.
my God, is this true?"
Oh, like, oh wait, I know what you're talking about. They like made up like as if there's gonna be another show and it
Yes,
was called
yes,
Secure. Yeah,
exactly. Like with
I
her
did see it.
picture, and it's like secure.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
we
was
should have
like,
all known we were getting punked on that one.
I
My
was
She
like,
was
heart
what
couldn't take
ready to
it.
move on. She was ready to move on for sure.
right? No, I do enjoy a good laugh, and I feel like it was interesting that we were talking about some of all the new shows, but I feel like a lot of comedians are having this option to like have these shows. I think the first time I ever seen a comedian on a sitcom might have been the Steve Harvey show.
I
I'm
was
not
gonna say
sure.
probably the Steve Harvey
Yeah,
show for
Steve
sure. And that
Harvey.
was a funny show, a funny concept as well.
Yeah.
Have you all seen Abbott Elementary with
No,
Quinta?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
I
Mecca,
haven't
you
seen
gotta
it.
watch it. It is the funniest thing I have seen
Why
in
is
a
it
little
funny? Tell
while.
me.
It's about, and Brandon, feel free to like jump in here. It's about it's Quinta, is it Quinta Brunson? Is that her last name?
Yeah.
So Quinta is a comedian, and but she plays this teacher in like an inner city school in Philadelphia, and it's kind of filmed in the vein of what The Office, for example, kind of
Okay.
like that
Yes.
kind of humor, and it's just really funny about her being like a really like earnest teacher in this inner city school with like the more experienced teachers that are like, girl, slow down, like and the principal is like, nobody knows how she got to be the principal. She doesn't know what she's doing. It's just really
All right. So
funny
there's some real
television.
stuff going on.
It's
Catch it. You
yeah.
should
No,
catch it.
10 out of 10 would
Shirley Ralph
recommend.
is top notch in
I
that.
love
She's
sure. Oh my God.
so funny. She's so funny. She
I
makes
met
the
her in
show.
person, like right before the pandemic hit. She is a lovely in person. She's a
Aw,
lovely person. I will
that's
say
so
that.
nice. Well, I mean, we have
Yeah.
so much to be excited for in terms of TV and seeing Black characters, and I hope that continues to be the case with creators like Issa Rae and now Quinta. And I'm
Yeah,
just
I
really
mean, I feel
excited about
like
it.
these like networks and like these Amazon and Netflix are allowing the freedom. I think before when you're looking at the big networks, if you couldn't get on the big networks, then that was it. But now that they have these streaming services and all these like one-offs, like like the Paramounts and Discoveries, I don't know, they're just like not gonna say allowing, they're open to more diversity when it comes to these sitcoms. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, they need content, right? And it's like, because I mean, I often think like, how does Netflix make money, right? So they put a movie out. It's not like they're selling tickets. You get
Right.
my same subscription whether I watch it or not, right? So like, but what keeps me on Netflix is the content they're creating, right? So it's just a machine, content, content, content. And like you said, there's so many options. If you got a show idea, you can't pitch it to Netflix. You can go to Hulu. You can go to Discovery.
Right.
You can go to Disney and BT. I mean, there's Tubi. I mean, Tubi. Like, there's just so many options. Like,
Yeah.
and there's probably like 10 that popped up since we've been talking, right? Like,
Oh, seriously.
I love it. Like,
we need to go start a streaming service.
Let's do it, you know?
Yeah.
That's it.
Amongst everything else. I love it because, yes, it was only 4 or 5 big networks at first, and now there's
so many options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing. I don't know. What are you guys currently watching right now? Like, what's your jam right now? It doesn't even have to be like a comedy. What's your jam right now?
Euphoria. Definitely watching Euphoria. Love that. Abbott Elementary.
Like Euphoria.
And I think Euphoria, Dare put out a comment a couple of weeks ago saying how they thought that the drug use was being like glamorized or whatever. But I'm like, no, if you'd have waited one episode, you'd have seen, just a downfall. And I don't think it's necessarily reality, but I don't think they're just painting, drug use and different things in this positive light. I mean, I think they're doing a good job telling the story so far. So excited to see where that's going to go. It's great. I mean, it got some great talent there. What else? I'm catching up on Queen Sugar.
Oh, I like Queen Sugar a lot.
It's been really interesting. I'm catching up on the COVID season.
Oh,
and
okay.
So it's been interesting to watch because it's like we've lived it, and I haven't really, some shows did kind of show COVID or whatever, but this one it's really showing how like farmers were affected, and so many different people and things I hadn't considered. I'm watching, I'm like, wow, like I was very privileged. I never was furloughed or laid off. I continued to work. And I know, just thinking like, okay, people would at restaurants and different people got affected, but I never considered farmers. And so if the farmers can't work, the drivers, and then, just so that I didn't think about it so deeply. And I was like, man, like so many people got hit so hard, and it's just so sad. So catching up on that. Just finished watching Queens. That season 1 just
oh, we didn't even I like Queens. I like what they did with that.
Yeah, Queens is great.
Yeah.
50
so many options.
I'm heavy in the 50 verse. Everything 50 them put out, I've seen it. DMF,
so you on Force right now?
I'm on Force right now, rocking out with Harvey in Chi-Town. You know what I mean? Like it's lit. 50, he's on to something. He done did it. So little Tariq running around New York. He get around more with no car. I don't know how he does it.
Wait, I said, how is this dude got no car and he doing the most? Okay.
Absolute. Yeah,
the absolute most.
Those are the big things. And then right now I'm just really heavy into movies because it's Oscar season. But that's an aside. But those are the shows I'm currently watching.
Okay, I like it. Ashley, are you into anything right now?
I'm strong. I'm heavy on Abbott Elementary. I don't get to watch a lot of television, so sitcoms are a sweet spot for me right now before I doze off on the couch having, the baby in the background. But Abbott Elementary is getting it for me. It looks like I'm gonna have to check out Bel-Air very soon, actually. Yeah, how about you, Mecca?
Euphoria, I'm definitely watching that. I finished Ozark not too long ago. Queens, finished up on that. The Cleaning Lady, I don't know how I got roped up into The Cleaning Lady, but The Cleaning Lady is actually really good. 4400, like I'm all into time lapse, so 4400 is one of those shows that I absolutely love. And then I'll do a Netflix, like I just did I watched the Tinder Swindler.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I don't know if you've seen that, but that was crazy.
That's on my weekend watch list.
With a capital C.
Yeah.
Do we have to have it do a part 2?
Girl, I literally was watching. I was like, if we don't talk about this, I'm a burst.
All right, we're gonna watch it.
There's so many layers to what I want to say.
Okay.
Actually,
we're gonna do a part 2.
Just remember your enemies. Just remember that.
Oh, enemies?
Just remember your enemies. Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Oh, you said remember your enemies?
Yeah.
That's what he said. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch it this weekend so I can understand. We're gonna have a reconvene. We're gonna have to bring back Be North.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, and then all the 50 Cent's Force. I'm watching that one. I like that character and I like that storyline. So yeah, I'm sure it's more. I have a list like in my notes section that I like literally write, and anytime I watch something,
like tracking.
I like put it on there so I can remember. And when people's like, "Oh, what are you watching?" And then I just send it in the list.
Yeah, That's what I'm looking at, you know.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Oh my
Y'all
God, where's my
organized about
phone?
it. Y'all are organized about it.
Listen, it
Gotta
is
be.
a thing.
No games. I see.
It's too much content out here. And then I'm like, oh, this show's back on. I didn't know. Oops, I forgot. Let me keep up with this one. Like, there's no way you watch all this and but you got to have a list. Oh, the reboot of the Wonder Years. Fantastic.
Oh, I wanted to watch that.
Oh, yes.
See?
Yeah, great show.
That's why you got to have a list. I forgot about that.
Let me put that on the list, actually.
I love the original. I'm loving the reboots, told from the perspective of us. It's great. I mean, yeah,
I should totally check that one out, actually, for sure.
I'm going to put that on the list because I totally forgot about the Wonder Years.
Yeah,
that's great. Well,
another one on B. Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to throw one more out there. On BT Plus, the Miss Pat Show.
Is that good?
Oh, she's a comedian,
hilarious.
Right?
Another comedian. I like it because one, I like to cuss. So I don't want to cuss on the show, but she goes off, right? Like it's like watching a sitcom, but can cuss, and so she's quick to cuss her kids out, and she's a comedian, like in real life and on the show. So from that dynamic. Would recommend 10 out of 10 as well. I mean, I think it's funny, sitcom, light and easy. You're gonna definitely get some laughs in.
I have to check that one out too. All right, y'all just added my list has now tripled from just
don't worry. I'll text you. Don't worry.
Yeah, send me a text. I'll forget. All right, well, B North, let the people know where can they find you if they want to chop it up some more on television, movies, all the things. Where can they find you?
For sure. Mostly on Instagram, b.north. B like period North. Hit me up, add me, follow me, I'll follow you back, shoot me a message, and we'll love to get into it.
Thanks, B.
No, this has been good, and I love a good kiki about TV shows, so this is like right up my alley. Actually, already know, like I will be like, can we talk for 5 minutes about this show because I got to get this off my chest.
And there's gonna be a half hour, so we're gonna have to do a part 2.
Right. Ashley said we want to talk about some shows. I said, there ain't no problem. So we do that.
Right. All right. Now this has been good. Catch us next time on Incense and Whiskey.
In the meantime, take a breath, have a sip.